What has been your favorite memory that you've created so far with Coach Scheyer?
I don't know. Maybe first time I seen him, I didn't know he was that tall. Maybe that's first. He's like 6'6". I didn't know that.
Mhm.
I thought he was. I don't know why. I thought he was like 6'1" or something like that. Meet him at
Mhm.
the airport. He's like 6'6". And I didn't realize Coach Scheyer really hooped for real until like halfway through my first visit. I looked him up and it said like first team All-American, this, that. I was like, oh, okay. Like he actually played basketball. Yeah.
What's going on today? I'm the host, Schumaker, and joining me today, the 2022 McDonald's All-American, the 2022 Sports Illustrated All-American Finalist. He's the number 6 ranked player in the class of 2022, a 5-star recruit, one of the stars on Sunrise Christian's number 1 ranked team. He's a 2022 NIBC champion, 2018 Junior NBA champion. He's also a 2022 Pangos All-American, and he's one of the highest ranked commits coming at number 38 in Duke history. Mark Mitchell, appreciate you coming on today, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Well, we've got a lot to get into today, but the very first thing I want to talk about is I know you and I have known each other for a while, and I've always been pretty vocal. We know that you're a top 10 player, in my opinion. Some rankings have it like that, some maybe a little bit off, but there is one right now that's a pretty big outlier. It's ESPN's, and I know you put out a tweet about that when it first came out, but they put you at number 33. So I just want to know when you did first see that ranking, what went through your mind?
I think I was a little surprised, playing in NIBC, which is the ESPN like catered
Mhm.
type event. I thought maybe my ranking would go up, and I didn't put in real work, real production. My team was number one. But I mean, it is what it is though. At the end of the day, man, you gotta just keep working and can't get too hell bent on those type of things.
I know that you've been going through a lot of ups and downs we've talked about throughout this. You've had quite a few injuries, and that was one of the things. Like obviously during those time spans, some rankings dropped you down, whatever, because of that.
Mhm.
How have you over the past year or so, though, kind of just realized, okay, at the end of the day, your biggest goal is obviously kind of enjoying high school, playing whatever, but it's
Mhm.
college and then obviously NBA after that. So how have you learned to kind of say, okay, rankings, they are what they are, but at the end of the day, I just need to make sure I'm 100% when it comes time for college and especially then long-term NBA and potential pro.
Yeah, I think just being away from the game, I think you learn how to evaluate a little more. And I see that a lot of extracurricular things don't really matter, but just playing and getting better. So I think it makes you cherish the game a little more. It makes you every time you step on the court, it could be your last time playing. So just giving it your all at a time to just valuing the little things every time you step on the court.
Well, we know you today as a top 10 player. We know you as guys going to Duke, a part of the number 1 recruiting class, but I want people to get to know how you became the Mark Mitchell that we know you as today. So if we head back, I know you're still out there at home. You're from Kansas. What was it like growing up out there?
It's cool. I mean, I think a lot of people think it's just like farms and grass and stuff, but I mean, where I'm from, it's not really like that. It's like a city. So I'm from Kansas City, but yeah, it's cool. It's just chill. I grew up in like the suburbs of Kansas City, so it's a good area, good place to raise your kids. Not much crime or anything. My parents provided a good life for me and everything. And I think I grew up really well.
On the basketball aspect, Kansas might not be known as one of the top states, but there has been this little group, I should say, over the past 2 or 3 recruiting classes that has had a lot of top guys. Yourself, Gray Dick, Tamar Bates, a couple other guys, obviously, in that group as well, like Taj Manning and others. What's it been like being a part of that, where you guys have now, in a way, put a spotlight now on the state of Kansas in the basketball?
But yeah, I think it's just really cool. Growing up, there wasn't many. There's a couple high level recruits every now and then here or there, but I think now just having like Jeremiah paving the way, Bobo was in the city for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like that. Tamar last year, guys from the city really putting on and getting out there and just getting noticed. I think it's really cool. Just whole state of Kansas with me and Grady, 2 McDonald's All-Americans from Kansas in the same year. I think it's just really cool that we can inspire the youth and just be someone that they can look up to. Because I know when I was growing up, there wasn't many like McDonald's All-Americans or anything. You just want to like go to a game and see if you can see a dunk or something like that. So I think just seeing all the kids that we inspire each and every day is really cool.
And for a long time, there were some guys that were talented too. I mean, you look at something like Christian Braun, who's obviously out there at Kansas, who's now going to be drafted in a year or so. He's from there. But for a long time now, like the story in line has always been guys are underrated from out there. What's kind
Mm.
of been the reason behind that? And how have you and Grady and Tamar helped elevate to where you guys now have a spotlight out there in Kansas?
I think just our works talks for itself. I think we all produce against the best, and I think we all play for NGMC in the summer. But also, there's guys from Mocan like Aiden and all those guys putting on too for the city. And I think it's just really cool that we can come together and just show people that Kansas City has hoopers too. Or
I know
hoopers.
you played a few different sports growing up too. Track and field is one of those, but when did the ball first get put in your hands? Was that the first one you started pursuing, or when did basketball first get put in your hands?
I think I started like messing around with basketball when I was like 3. My dad played basketball and he was always around the game, so I think he introduced it to me pretty early.
Was that the point you started falling in love with it, or when would you say you started like really embracing it as that's the sport you loved?
I think when I really started racing, I was probably like 8 or 9. I liked it before, but I think when I was like 8, really started understanding it, watching more NBA, watching more basketball, and things like that is when I really like fell in love with the game.
Who would you say has been one of your favorite players or someone that you've loved growing up watching, maybe even compare yourself to in a sense?
I think my favorite player growing up is definitely Kobe. It's not a maybe, it was Kobe. Like my room at home is purple and yellow still. I got the Kobe fat head up, everything. He was definitely like the one growing up that I looked at. Because when I really started watching basketball, he was at the top of the game, winning back-to-back championships. And as my dad, who was the best player, was in the league, and he told me Kobe, and I just said, that's my favorite player without really knowing anything. But just watching him and man, he's just nothing like Kobe ever. The tenacity he played with, the fire he played with, the skill, just everything was just one of a kind.
You obviously have a lot of moves in your bag. What would you say has been the most Kobe inspired thing that you do on the court? One of the biggest things that just even his personality, the way he carried himself, like what's the biggest thing you've taken from Kobe and put into your game?
Um, I don't even know if there's like one thing. I think just the all around, just Kobe in itself, just trying to have his type of mentality, just have be a dog on the court at all times.
If you could compare yourself to one guy, maybe take a couple different guys and say you have this from this player, this from that player, who would those players be?
Shoot, that's a hard question. Maybe a little like Scotty Barnes. I think we play kind of similar. Um, Siakam, we play kind of similar. A little bit of Paul George, a little bit. It's just a little bit. But those 3, I think, kind of make up kind of what I am, put in one. So
I mentioned earlier that you also did play track and field, and not only did you play it, you won a title on that. You're part of the Junior Olympics with that. Talk about that aspect about you. Like, what caused that passion for you, and just what was it like being as successful as you were on track and field as well?
yeah, growing up, I ran track until high school. Then I stopped because it just wasn't. I didn't have enough time or anything. But I loved it. Growing up, I ran. I did long jump. That was like my main thing. I think just I started doing track. My dad put me in when I was like 7. It's just like that's something to do, and I mean I was pretty good at it. So many people don't think I'm fast, but I think it's just I don't know why they think that. I think it's just an illusion because my legs are so long. But yeah, I loved it. Track is definitely I think it's like the hardest sport because you're really just running till you like pass out half the time. But yeah, I think just the process of it. It's really like everything you do really matters in track. You can't just eat crazy and not get enough sleep and stuff because you're really just relying on your own body to, where in other sports like basketball, you might get away with eating something crazy for the game because you're still more skilled. But in track, it's just your body. So I think just the meticulousness of it and everything like that is just really what I liked about it growing up. It was just a process each and every day, just grinding and seeing. And track is something you can really see and know if you're getting better. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If your time is better, slower, you're gonna know. So I really loved it.
At any point throughout high school, have you ever considered saying, I would like to play? I know you had a couple of injuries that obviously knocked you out from some of the years too, but was there any point you said, I might want to go out there and try one more year or try it out there in high school?
Yeah, I thought about it. But I just the time. There wasn't enough time for sure. And my body's a little different now. All that running, I don't know if I could do it like I used to. I grew a couple inches also, so it's not the same. But I thought about it for sure, but it just never could work out.
Right before you go into high school, you were a part of something special, and it really was a formation of a lot of these guys that we now see have all panned out. You were part of that team. Aiden Shaw, Grady Dick, Taj Manning. others as well. You guys go out there, win the junior NBA championship. What was that experience like? And for starters, is how did you guys get that team together?
Yeah, so that was our power group team, or most of it. Uh, just we played together growing up, like in middle school and stuff. And Grady actually just played with us that one tournament, so we really didn't know Grady like that. He came play with us. We were like, "Oh, this white boy, he's kind of good." He played with us just that one tournament. He was cool. But yeah, we've been playing together for a while. That main group that you've seen at JNBA, so it was cool how we all grew together. You can see at the end, we all crying and stuff at the end. So we were really close. We knew that was probably our last game all together. How it was, so it was a great moment.
Obviously, you and Grady have stuck together now for pretty much all your guys' high school career, and now obviously the big year. You guys have reunited for your senior year. We'll talk about in a second. But was that the first time you guys got to know each other, or did you guys know each other a little bit before that, or how did that relationship between you two start?
No, I didn't know Grady at all before JNBA. That was my first time getting to know him, and I got to know him more playing because he played Run GMC too. We weren't on the same team, but we're the same program and everything. So I seen him around, but yeah, I've got to know him through the years. We have a pretty good relationship.
Being a part of that obviously put a spotlight on you from the get-go, and you've been ranked now as a top player. You've had the attention on you. People regard you as a top player really since that point in time, which has now been about 5 years for yourself. How have you been able to pretty much stay up there for 5 years? Because there's countless guys you always see start at the rankings as a top five, top 10 player. And by the end of it, people, they might not have too many offers. They might just fall off because they get kind of too much bought into themselves, maybe stop working.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been able to stay this long now with the target on your back and still remain as good as you pretty much have always been as one of the top guys year in, year out?
Yeah, I think I don't think I get complacent. I think there's always something to prove to somebody. Someone's always down you out there. But I think I'm just trying to get better for myself first and foremost before anything. So I know there's things I need to work on in my game to get to the next level and get to where I want to be at. So I'm just working, trying to get better each and every day.
How big was winning the junior NBA championship and getting that exposure early on? How big has that been then for your rest of your career?
Yeah, it's been great. I think also that we were the first junior NBA world champions was also a great thing with that too. And just the relationships I built with the people who are part of the NBA. They also work with USA Basketball and Nike and all different things you really wouldn't know about unless you were there. So it was great. It was probably the best basketball experience I've had to this day. So
Let's go into that high school career. You choose to stay home, Bishop Meade for the beginning. Walk us that decision. Why was that the high school you first want to start your career off at?
Yeah. So in Kansas City, I think Bishop Meade was like the best basketball school at the time. Then Blue Light Northwest, and Blue Light Northwest, I couldn't even go there because I didn't live out there. And Bishop Meade is like a private school. I live like 30 minutes away, so it was a private school, so it didn't matter. And Jeremiah went there, Bobo went there, and they just had like hoopers in the past. So I knew kind of like that was where I was gonna go, growing up, or not even growing up, but like once I got to 8th grade.
If someone came and told you at that point in time that 4 years from that point, you're going to be a guy that could choose from pretty much any school in the country, you're a guy that has obviously immense potential, possibly playing the NBA, your name's on mock drafts. Could you have seen that in your future at that point in time?
I mean, yeah. I don't even want to be cocky. I just, even since a young kid, I kind of just envisioned the way it would go, and I never thought it would go any other way. Because I just love the game. I never thought it wouldn't work out the way it's kind of worked out. Obviously, there's some bumps in the road, but all the work I put in, I thought it would amount to something as I got older.
At what point in your career then would you say it started clicking? You said, okay, I know for a fact that I am one of the best players no matter what. I have pro potential. I can go to any school in the world. When did that really set in for yourself and you started truly believing in that as well?
I think I always kind of had that confidence. I think when I was like 11, I went and played in St. Louis. That was like the first time I ever played outside of Kansas City. And we played at the Coach T Classic. And I was like still one of the best players in the event. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to be playing against kids from other cities, other states and things like that. But I was still one of the best players. I just always thought that I would be, it would always be that way. So I never really thought of anything else.
That freshman year, walk us through the ups and downs of it. You get accustomed to high school level. You play a great season overall. What was that first year of high school like for yourself?
Yeah, first year of high school was great. Going to high school, I didn't know what to expect because I knew they were going to be bigger, stronger, faster, things like that. than playing like 8th grade. I've been playing up and stuff too. So, but I think just I was kind of prepared. In 8th grade we played a lot of like freshman and sophomore teams that summer going into it, so we kind of understood what was going on, how it was, and obviously I was like 6'5" and I was athletic and things like that, so I wasn't like really behind the 8 ball or anything. So I think I had a good jump. I did really well my freshman year, and it was definitely a great time. Great time.
After that point, you end up getting an opportunity to go out to Team USA. You be a part of the mini camp, and that's a unique experience because there weren't too many guys from your class at that point in time taken. You guys were one of the younger guys out there. So, what was that opportunity like?
Oh yeah, it was great just being around all those guys who are like you, and also being around the older guys at the time. It was guys like Cole Anthony and Scotty Barnes and Jeremiah and Jalen Green and Josh Christopher. You're playing against them too, so you're kind of just being thrown into the fire just to fend for yourself. And I think it just teaches you things you really need to work on your game, because playing against guys like that, it exposes your weaknesses. So it was great.
That's the crazy thing for a lot of guys because now obviously you say those names and everyone seems to know those guys, the older ones at least. There's obviously a huge jump because you're an elite player, but a difference between you and a guy that's an elite player as well, 1, 2, 3 years older is a huge gap. So how big was that for you to go up against these guys that were 1 or 2 years out from becoming NBA players? How big was that for you in your development?
Yeah, it was big. At times I really struggled,
Mm-hmm.
just playing against their length and athleticism is something you don't see ever, unless you're playing against them. So it was definitely a jump for me, but I think it definitely helped me in the long run. It made me just think a little bit more about the game and in ways I needed to.
When you look back at that, who was your favorite guy to go up against?
Who we got to go up against? I played Greg Brown
Mm-hmm.
one time out there. He was like athletic. He was like taller than me. Everything. It was just tough to score and things like that. And Mobley too.
Mm-hmm.
He was just swift, 7 foot, blocking shots, everything. And they probably didn't know who I was or anything, but I knew who they were. We played against him, and yeah, he was definitely a cool guy to play against at the time.
What would you say was the biggest thing that you learned from that experience?
Um, I think this is like the little things matter. I think the coaches preach it and everything, but you really seen it yourself once the game started playing, and playing against guys like that. You can't just, the little things really matter in the way you pivot and the way you shoot the ball and the way you get in the paint and land on 2 feet. And I think that just really stood out to me.
The other huge aspect about that is that Team USA has the top players. You have to be elite to get in there, but it's not just being elite that you get in there. You also have to be great off the court in the classroom as a person. Walk us that aspect about it, because there are some guys that are top players that never were able to be a part of Team USA because of stuff that might be off the court or whatnot. How have you learned to balance that? And also, how have you learned to really take in the aspect of being good off the court in the classroom and just also as a person?
Yeah, I think my parents just instilled that in me since a young kid. I've never been like a hooligan or anything like that. I'm pretty laid back, but I mean, I'm a fun guy at times. But I think they always taught me just to not do nothing crazy, and I think just seeing people around me and seeing the mistakes they made, I just wanted to learn from those and not make the same mistake.
There was something that happened in the final day of your Team USA camp. You end up hyperextending your knee, and that was one of a couple of different injuries you've had in high school so far. So, walk us that experience. Like, what exactly happened there, and then how did you approach that rehab after that?
Yeah, I'd been playing really good, and I like went up to dunk on somebody, and I came down. I didn't hyperextend it. I like chipped a piece of my cartilage.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I was still played, but I was like, this just feels off. And I played the rest of that day, and then I started playing the next day. I was like, I can't. This is like, it didn't hurt or anything. Like my knee was fine, but I could just feel like someone was like in there, like something was off. And I went to my doctor, Dr. Keys, and he said I had a piece of my cartilage. They were just gonna have to like scope it out and things like that. And it was low key a blessing in disguise, because my right leg wasn't as strong as my left one, and I just going through physical therapy and things like that, it got a lot stronger. I think if I didn't hurt my knee, it wouldn't be as strong as it is now. I was only out for like a month and things like that, so it didn't like structurally damage my knee or hurt any ligaments or anything. It was just a little piece of cartilage they took out, and yeah, I think it was a blessing in disguise.
Going to your sophomore season a little bit then, because that's also a pretty solid year. I know you guys were up there. I think the favorites that everyone wanted to see for a matchup was you guys versus Tamar Bates at that point, but COVID comes in and that obviously screwed up a lot of different stuff for a lot of different avenues for basketball players. But overall, just what you guys were able to play in, what was that sophomore year like?
Yeah, that sophomore year was I think I don't even know how to describe it. I think to this day it's my most favorite season of basketball I ever played in my life. It wasn't the best team I ever been on, nothing like that, but I think just that group of guys, we played so hard every game. Man, we just we didn't have the same firepower we had the year before. We lost some guys. It was mostly young guys, like sophomores, juniors, all of us. We had one senior. He was a football player. He helped us out. He was really vital to our team too. And yeah, we just fought hard every game. Like really just bought in together. There was no other way for us to win. We didn't have Spencer Jones and Josh Early and 6'7", 6'8". I was the tallest guy. I was like 6'7" at the time. And we just fight and battle, and we had some great memories together.
When COVID did set in for you guys, I know, like I said, the big matchup that you guys wanted, I think a lot of people wanted to see was you guys versus Tamar Bates. So who would have won that match if you guys did line up and get a play against each other?
I think we would have won. I think we were a little more battle tested. We played in a harder conference. We were playing all 6A schools while they were playing like 4A schools. That's just what I think. He would probably say differently. I know he would say differently, but I think we're a little more battle tested. We had played some tougher teams and things like that. So I think if we were in their conference, we would have had the same record they had. If they were in our conference, they would have lost a couple more games.
This kind of sidetracks a little bit, but when you do end up going to college in a year, and obviously Tamar Bates has a good chance of probably coming back another year at Indiana, and there's gonna be other guys like Gray Dick, obviously, will be out there at Kansas, Todd out there at Kansas State, etc. When you get to go line up against and possibly play any of those guys, what would that game be like?
I think it'd be cool. Obviously, we're not on the same team, so I got to go at them and things like that. But I think it'll just be cool for the community, like in our area, to see two kids from this area just competing against each other on the highest level of college basketball. So I think that'll be really cool and inspiring to the youth, and just really good for the area. I think whenever you can see two people that have been in your shoes doing what you want to do, it's great.
Out of anyone that you could think of and possibly playing college next year, which guy would you want to go up against the most?
I don't think I really have one. I think I was looking forward to playing college basketball, playing at Cameron Indoor and things like that.
Going into your junior season, then COVID obviously messed up. You guys didn't really get any AAU games. Then you go into that junior season and you guys end up becoming state champions. Overall, it's a great season for you guys. What was that year like for yourself?
It was great. Taj came over and played with me my junior year. I think we were dominant. There wasn't much competition my junior year. It was a little different than my sophomore year, not having the firepower and things. I think my junior year, we brought everyone back from the year before. And it was just, and we didn't get to play as many top-ranked national teams and things like that because of COVID, because we couldn't travel. So we just made the best of what it was. We had a lot of fun. We made the most of it, and it was great. It was magical.
Knowing that you were able to leave your Bishop career out there as a state champion, you brought that to your school. What did that mean to you?
It was great. I don't think I could go out without winning one.
Mm-hmm.
People always say, "Oh, why don't you leave early?" I was like, "Man, I couldn't leave without winning one." Every great NBA player won one before me, so I think it was just an honor. Even though everyone knew we was going to win state and things like that, I think the emotion just got to me. Just all that time, I didn't win one yet, and then usually you win one your freshman and sophomore year, and it took me a long time, but it was definitely great. Winning one for the MA's community and things like that. Even though they didn't really need another state championship, I think it was just cool to go out on top of my guys.
You also had another injury then that I think ended up translating a little bit into what ended up making you miss then your AAU season this past summer and spring, but you dislocate your right elbow then. Take us to that a little bit. I know you only missed 6 games. I think you came back and then played after that, but walk through the injury and how much of an impact did that injury then have on you end up missing part of or most of obviously your spring and summer of AAU?
Yeah, so I got hurt like beginning of February. Mm-hmm. I tried to alley-oop and fell, and I put my arm down to brace myself, and it just the pressure went up wrong with my arm, and my elbow popped out, the side right there where it's at. And I thought I broke my arm, which probably would have been better than dislocating my elbow. But I they popped it in. I was out a couple of weeks. I came back and started playing. I was like a little fragile at first, but then I started playing. It was like fine. I thought I was okay. I started doing everything. I was windmilling, dunking, whatever. I was playing normal. So I was like, oh, I'm fine. And I went to AU. First game at AU, we're playing Arkansas Red. I go up to get a rebound and dude hits my arm, and it pops out again. And I knew the doctor told me if it pops out again, you have to get surgery. So yeah, it was tough, not getting to play your last AU season and everything. But I'm good now, healthy now, and I had a great doctors taking care of me, so it's great.
So was those injuries, obviously, I know the dislocations can look a little bit different than some injuries. So was that one of those more gruesome looking ones? And if so, like, how did you react to that when you did see it?
Yeah, I think I was just scared because I'd
Mhm.
never really gotten hurt visibly before, and you could visibly see like something was wrong with my arm. That's why I thought I broke it because it was like
Mhm.
it didn't look right. I remember I fell on the ground. I was like, I ran over to the trail. I was like, I broke my arm. I broke my arm. Like I broke my arm. And she's like, no, 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 you didn't. And I mean, but it was definitely a little scary.
Over that summer and spring, obviously it was a lot of you just getting back, trying to get ready to play for at least the senior season. Obviously, you said AAU, if you could have got back, I'm sure you could have and you would have wanted to. But overall, the team you probably would have ran with them was Casey Run GMC, this team you were running with throughout it all. What
Mhm.
was it like just being a part of that program, though, throughout your AAU career?
It was great. LJ is a great guy. LJ Goolsby. He definitely takes care of his guys. Well, I think he's one of the best in the game, AU for sure. I know with his track record and with his pedigree and what he's done, that has been great. It was cool just being able to travel with the team, support them, and be there any way I could, even though I couldn't play. But just being there to support the guys all summer was good.
What's your favorite AAU memory that you create over your AAU career?
My favorite AU memory. Ooh. Um, I don't know, because I was hurt so my freshman year, sophomore year I didn't even have AU for real, and then my junior year I didn't play. So probably eighth grade was definitely my favorite AU year because we were number one in the country. We only lost like one game that summer, or it was in the spring actually when we lost. But I think eighth grade junior NBA was definitely the best AU experience I've had.
Throughout this time, you end up committing and all that stuff we'll get into in a second. But just to focus in on your senior year now, you then make the move to Sunrise Christian, a powerhouse. We know how special they've been now for the past few years. What went that decision? Why did you decide to say, you know what, I've done what I want now. I want to go play one more year on a national stage? What led to that decision for yourself?
Yeah, I just think I needed to go to the next level. I love Bishop Miege. I
Mm-hmm.
really didn't even think about leaving until after the state championship. I didn't even entertain it. I remember I actually had a Zoom call with Coach Luke before the season ended, and I wasn't even really listening to nothing he was saying because I didn't want to leave what I had built all those years. But once after the season, I really got to look back on it. I was like, I think I need to go somewhere where I can be pushed a little more and things like that, and just go to the next level.
And that is a huge thing too, because you have the opportunity to stay home still in Kansas. How big has that been where it's obviously not the homeschool you've been at now for 3 years, but you just stay home, still represent the state while playing at the national level? What has that been like?
Yeah, it's been great. I think it was definitely a blessing having Sunrise in Wichita. I'm only 2.5 hours from home. Like I can go home. I mean, I don't go home often, but I can go home every now and then. If a dire emergency comes, I have my car out here. Like my mom is here right now. Actually, one of my brothers lives out here. I got family out here, so it's just great. I'm not too far away. And it's just a great situation that I kind of fell into.
Once again, you get to reunite with Grady. How big of a factor was that? Being able to go out there, reunite, team up with him at the high school level now. What was that like? And did he have an impact in you ultimately going out there?
Yeah, he did.
Mhm.
Just having someone that that had been through this process before, had been at Sunrise already a year. He kind of was telling me how it went on, and how it was going. So once he kind of told me what the deal was, I think I was all in.
I've got to ask on the recruiting aspect, both you guys had offers to countless different schools, and obviously KU was in the mix for you as well there. But how close did you two ever get to possibly teaming up at the college level?
To be honest, we never really got close to that. I mean, I knew since he would say he wasn't going to KU since birth, but so I kind of knew he was going to KU, and I didn't really know what I was going to do. I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but nothing really got going there.
Now, the rest of that team is low as well. Obviously, great as we just talked about there. Scotty's an up and coming great guy. Layden is obviously a big time player. Cam's going to Florida State. Dylan's going to Baylor. Bobby's going on out there. He's looking at his final different options right now as well. But what was this team like? And what's it been like being a part of this high level group?
It's great, I think a lot of people doubted us at first, but I think they just see the way we play and our tenacity and things like that are just next level. I think we have the best coach in high school basketball. At first we thought maybe dude was a little crazy. He was like, man, what's wrong with him? Like, but I think just we've grown to understand him and why he was like that and on us at the beginning. And we all are really thankful for him now. So I think it's just been great, this year. I think we even shocked ourselves a little bit with what we've done so far, but it's been great. We just got to keep going.
Obviously, the Sunrise Christian is a Christian school. I know you're a believer as well. So being able to go to a school that you get to foster your relationship with God, continue to grow the aspect as well. What's that been like?
It's been good. I think it challenges you in your faith a little bit because kids here really on their faith and things like that. So I think it also makes you take a look in the mirror, look at yourself, and just to see where you're at with God and things like that. So just having Bible class first thing in the morning is it's the first thing you really do every morning and reading your Bible and things. So I think it's been good.
Out of everyone on this team this year, what guy shocked you the most? I know some guys might have had bigger names before the season or whatnot, but has there been one guy that you maybe didn't know too much about heading into this team that now you've kind of been woken up to or kind of shocked you when you got out there?
I think Layden. I knew he was a young kid, young bull coming up. I thought he'd just be more like in the background, like a backup point guard type of role. And but he's definitely really shocked me. He's like an integral part of our team. He's like if without Layden we wouldn't be here. Obviously without anyone, but I think he's definitely going to have a breakout year next year also and go to even new heights because it'll be his team next year. He'll be running the show, and I think everybody will see how good he really is.
You said you guys have even shocked yourself a little bit. So what were the expectations when you guys head into the season? What do you guys think you guys were capable of accomplishing?
I think we thought we'd be like. I thought we would be good. No, did I? Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I thought we'd be this good. Because I knew on paper we're not as stacked as some of the other teams, and I didn't think that mattered. But I think just with the way we prepared, I think we've been through some things that other teams haven't been through. We've had some ups and downs. People don't really know about at the beginning of the season. People might forget about that. Really, I think if we didn't have those ups and downs at the beginning, we wouldn't be where we are now. So I think it's just a blessing in disguise. Everything has went. I think sometimes you just gotta go down and come back up. So it's been good.
In a way, this has been a resurgence from yourself too. I've always said faithful. I mean, I know that no matter what, I've always figured that you were still a top player because elbow injuries obviously basically takes out a certain amount of time period. It's not something that's going to affect you as a long-term player, but in a way, you haven't got to play for a little bit now. There's been a lot of different breaks, a lot of ups and downs. This has been your first really healthy chunk now for a while of your career. So, what's it just been like knowing that you've been able to go out there and pretty much dominate the way you've always known that you could?
Yeah, it's been good. With the elbow injury, I think people forgot about me a little bit, and I think just being with Sunrise, and that's being on such a national big stage, the biggest stage in high school basketball, has been great because you kind of have to see what I'm doing. Being on number one team in the country, just leading our team and just helping out any way that I can, and just being one of the best players in the country, night in and night out. I think it's very obvious to people now. Maybe some people would have not thought that before, but I just had to remind people who I was and what I do.
You guys just came out, won the NIBC championship, which is not an easy thing to do. So, what was that experience like? And when you guys got the game over with, you guys won it. What went through your guys' minds? What was that like?
Yeah, it was great. We worked hard for that. I think just since we got here, Coach Luke been preaching us the NIBC, and that's what he was preparing for us all year. So it's been great. We didn't even play good that game. I didn't have a good game that game. Grady was struggling for a while there, but guys picked us up where we needed to be picked up at, and I think that's what a team does. And we ended out with the dub.
You guys have one more game left, and then obviously Geico, which I don't think you guys obviously haven't announced the teams yet, but I think it's safe to say you guys are going to be out there at Geico. So, how excited are you? Just feel kind of wrapped this career, but how excited are you ultimately for Geico?
Yeah, I can't wait. That's what we worked for all year. We've been through just a lot, this year, and I think that's the pinnacle of it all. So I can't wait to just keep working this next month and getting ready for it and going out there and competing.
At the same time, though, there's only a few more games left to your career. You got one more high school game, then obviously however far you guys go in Geico. Is that crazy to think about that, or what's going through your mind as you realize your high school career is just about over with now?
Oh yeah, I think about it every now and then. I don't think about it too much. I think I kind of just live it in the moment. I'm sure it'll hit me once it's actually over and things like that. But I think I'm just taking it day by day and just living in the moment.
Now, there has been a few more things for yourself personally that you get to go out and do sometime over the next couple of months before you have to do. One of those is McDonald's All-American, one of the biggest honors for high school. Walk us through what your reaction was and how you found out that you're a McDonald's All-American.
Yeah, we went an auditorium at school, just a team, and watched the thing. And I seen that I made it. I was really, really happy. that all that hard work that I put in had come to fruition. So this is a great feeling, great moment. You see all the guys in the McDonald's All-American game all your life, just watching it every year. And then now that I get to be a part of it, it's a great honor.
When you do get to go out there and you step foot on that court, what's going to go through your mind is how excited are you for that?
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm just gonna go out there, do what I can, show what I can do, and just try to have a good time.
Is there one statement or one thing you want to go out there and make sure that you get accomplished, or one statement you want to leave behind for what you're able to go out there in that game?
I don't know. I mean, I'm on the highest level of high school basketball, so I don't think there's too many people that haven't seen me play this year. I'm just trying to go out there, try to win, and just do what I can.
You're also going to be part of the Iverson Classic game as well. What was it like learning about that opportunity?
Yeah, it was great. That's a little bit different type of all-star game, getting to be around NBA players and former guys who have been where you want to be and have been in your shoes to where I am at currently. So I think it's cool. Getting to also interact with different groups of guys. There's a couple different guys that are going to I've seen them out at McDonald's, and just seeing the Black History museums and Martin Luther King museums and things like that. So it'll be cool.
When you do end up stepping away from this high school career now in a couple of months, what do you want to be remembered for? If there's something that you want to make sure that people remember you for what you achieved over your high school career, what would that be?
I think just being a winner first and foremost. I think I've won everything I can win in high school. I mean, I'm trying to win this. If I win Geico, I would literally have won everything you possibly can win in high school basketball. So just a winner first and foremost, and just I think I don't really know if there's anything else. I think just a winner.
Well, let's get into this recruiting process because it's been a long one for yourself. You came down to that Final Four eventually of UCLA, Duke, Kansas, Mizzou. And obviously then we kind of know it went down eventually just to two schools out there, UCLA and Duke. Walk us through that process though. Like what originally led you down to this Final Four? What was it about those four programs that stood out the most to you?
Yeah, I think that I just had the best relationship with those staffs, and they were also like the places that could possibly get me to where I needed to go. And I think it was just as simple as that. So
obviously, you have some of those that are home. KU is obviously pretty close to home for yourself. Mizzou is also pretty close to yourself. Obviously, not officially in Kansas and Missouri, but still pretty close. How big were those factors for you, and what would it have been like to possibly stay home?
Yeah. Well, really, location really wasn't anything. Anything. I think all the schools I actually had, that people don't know, but they were all like in location to something. My mom is actually from North Carolina, and my brother lives out in LA, so I go there every summer. So location really wasn't nothing that I was really looking too hard at. And I'm from like Kansas City, which is close to Lawrence and Columbia. So location really wasn't too much of a factor in my decision.
I know KU being the hometown team in a sense for yourself would probably be pretty big for yourself in terms of just growing up, knowing that that's the blue blood at home. How big was that for you when you first got that offer, and how close did you ever possibly get to going there?
Yeah, it's a big deal. Being from Kansas, getting off from Kansas, just them being a blue blood program, it's a big deal. So, yeah, I mean, I had a great relationship with Coach Norm and things like that. It's an honor that they recruited me the way they did, and it was great.
When you did get down to those final two, though, Duke, UCLA, two historic all-time great programs as well. What led you down to those two?
Yeah, I think it's just the relationships I had with the staff. I had the best relationships with those staff. Just the genuineness of the vision they had for me, and where I could see myself fitting with those programs and what they had accomplished, who was there, and who was also coming in with me. They both choices were great.
So kind of take us through these steps then. Obviously, you eventually go down to your decision. It becomes Duke. How do they edge themselves out over UCLA? Obviously, both programs, like you said, have a lot of recruits locked in. Both places you could obviously fit in at, great programs. Walk us through how Duke eventually overall won you over.
Yeah, I think just my relationship with Coach Scheyer. For a while there, I really didn't know where I was going. I think just relationship with him, talking to him, and just also going on visits with some of the guys that were in cover with me just made me feel more comfortable about going there. Just seeing, I think just that second visit really, I wouldn't say it won me over, but I think I kept looking back on it. I think that's just really what helped me decide to go there.
When was the point that it clicked for you and you said, okay, Duke's where I want to go? I know it's these two schools, I like them, but I'm officially sold. Duke's where I'm heading.
I think after the Duke Gonzaga game, I think I kind of seen the vision and seen like what Duke was all about. I knew what I'd seen, but I think after that, it was kind of just like, I think that's where I want to go. That's where I fit in, and I want to be a part of that.
So you commit on the 10th, December 10th to be exact. Then, at what point did you tell Coach Scheyer that he won you over?
I think I had told him the Monday before. I told him that week. That week, I told him on Monday. I FaceTime and told him.
When you gave him that call, what was his reaction?
He was really happy. I think he thought I was going there the whole time, uh, but I really just didn't. I think he was just ecstatic to find out I was coming to join the Brotherhood.
This is a unique situation, which we've seen it. I think it's going to be more of a trend where we see some of these great coaches, because there's a lot of them obviously in the final years of coaching now that do this coaching waiting situation. But you see Coach K is still the head man for one more year. Coach Scheyer's assistant coaches now got a couple of chances to be the head coach as well. But what was it like just kind of seeing Coach Scheyer, and how did he ultimately win you over as a coach?
Yeah, I think just that people say he'll be a first year head coach, but I think he's been under the reins of Coach K for a while, and I think he's really been doing a lot behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. And I think he's going to be great. I think he has a great mind, a great vision of how he's going to lead the Duke program. But I think he's learned from the best, so I don't think he can go wrong.
Obviously, he's an incredible recruiter, because to be your first year head coach, and yeah, he has Duke with the obviously backing now, that's helpful because of a historic great program, but still, Coach K hasn't even got the number one class every year he's been a coach. So how has he been able to pull off the number one recruiting class?
I think just he's a people's person. I think he's also been around the Duke program. He went to Duke. He is Duke. So I think he can just portray it in ways that other people can. I think he really portrayed his vision to all of us, the six of us, in a great way. And I think we all believe and bought into what he was saying.
Out of this recruiting class, you've got, like I said, the number one group. You got Dereck out there, you got Kyle, Dariq, Jaden's out there. Christian obviously is technically in your recruiting class, but was not going to play with you guys until 2023. So out of any of those guys, were you close to them beforehand? How big of an impact did any of them have in your ultimate committing to Duke?
I didn't really know many of the guys before.
Mm-hmm.
On my first visit, Kyle was with me. We really think alike. I learned that when I met him. Hey, we're kind of like-minded in the way we think and things like that. And I really bonded with him. And on my second visit, I was with Dariq and Dereck, and those guys just made it feel like home. And we got along well and just bonded and hung out together. So it was great.
Take us through those two visits. The first one, you went out there, I believe it was in June-ish, June 28th to be exact. What was that visit like? And just take us through what happened from the time you got there and the time you left.
Yeah, the first visit was a little different. There's no one on campus. I think the freshmen were working out and things like that, so I got to see that and got to see what Durham was all about, what Cameron was about, and just toured around the campus more, just talked to academic advisors and talked to Coach Scheyer and things like that. And it was more just to see about Duke and see what was going on there. And yeah.
A lot of guys have said that you guys have talked to Coach K for maybe a couple seconds here and there, whatever. What was it like for you and him? Did you get to talk to him at all? If so, how often was that?
Yeah. I mean, I talked to Coach K a little bit. Obviously, Coach Scheyer was really the one recruiting me, but
Yeah.
I talked to Coach K a little bit. I mean, they took us up to his office. So on my first visit, it was kind of just like you see him in person, you're just like, wow, that's Coach K. That's crazy. Like it almost like hits you. It's like wow. But yeah, it was great. Getting to hear his knowledge, hear what he had to say about the game because he's really seen everything in basketball. He's seen Kobe, he's seen Jordan, seen LeBron, seen everything. So I think just getting to pick his mind with some that I think I wish everybody could experience.
What was the biggest takeaway you had from being around Coach K?
I think just he's I think out of all things he's a smart dude. Obviously he's won and done all these things, but I think he's really a cerebral person. The way he thinks is a little different than others, and I think that's shown in the way his program has grown over the years.
That final visit, the one that you said pretty much locked you in then, involved, as you said, Dereck and Dariq, two of the other top guys in this recruiting class. And we saw some of the pictures from that. Obviously, you guys had the big three picture out there. What was it like just being around them? And what was that second visit like from the time you got there to the time you left?
Yeah, the second visit was nice. I didn't have to do a lot of the meetings and things like that. I was kind of just vibing with the team, getting to know the team, seeing what their day-to-day schedule was like, seeing countdown was crazy. I'd never seen an environment like that. I think like they talk about how Cameron Indoor is this and that, but it's definitely real. The energy in there is real. The brotherhood is real among the team, among the players, among the staff, everybody down to the trainers and everything, down to the cooks, down to everything. It's all love out there. And I think just to getting to experience that and getting to understand Durham a little more and seeing what Durham was about, was definitely what won me over.
I know some guys have talked about a potential dinner that they had on the court for you guys with all the smoking on the background or whatever. Was that the case for you, or what was your overall dinner like when you finally got to sit down with Coach Scheyer?
Yeah, it was cool. Dinner. Well, shoot, I'm trying to think. I don't even remember dinner the second time, because I think the first night we were at the airport, I think they had countdown that Friday night,
Mm-hmm.
and then so we didn't go to dinner. We had like Chick-fil-A or something. Not with the players. I think Saturday night they let me just hang out with the players, so it was cool. I don't think we had dinner the second time though.
When you talk about all the guys in that recruiting class and you're coming down to your decision, did any of them know that you're going to Duke before you commit, or did they all find out right when you announced it?
I think I told Dariq a little before.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he had asked me, I was like, he said, "Is it where I wanted to be?" I was like, "Yeah." I think I told Dariq maybe the day of,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't really tell no one else.
Now, it might be getting a little bit ahead of some people, but we've obviously seen the number one recruiting class. The last time Duke had that was a pretty good group of Zion Williamson, Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett. Obviously, that's a lot of high expectations. You have time to prove what you guys can do compared to that group. But this class has a potential that could reach that level, could become even better, and potentially go further than they did tournament wise. How special can this 2022 recruiting class be?
Yeah, I think we can be pretty special. I think we're all interchangeable parts. We all can just mix and match with each other and things like that. So I think we can be great. I think we're just trying to pave our own path, make our own legacy and things like that. So we're just gonna work hard, get in there, and do what we got to do, and see where it goes.
When you look at yourself, I know the obvious for people to look at would be Kyle and Dereck, obviously at the 4 and 5. You would probably at the 3, then Dariq at the 2-ish, and obviously we'll see whoever stays and whatever happens there. But what kind of spot does Coach Scheyer plan on running you at? Is he kind of running you more at the 3? Is that what you want? Will it be more of the power forward, stretch forward type of role, or what kind of does he expect from you when you get out there?
I think he just expects me to just be a versatile player,
Mm-hmm.
fit in where I fit in, and mix and match. You know, I can play the 3, I can play the 4. Just play, be a basketball player. That's what I've always been. I never really had a position. I kind of just played. I think has shown in my game and the versatility that I have. So I think I'm going to bring that to Duke next year and see where it takes me.
A hard thing for a lot of freshmen is, your ultimate dream is playing the NBA, and that's obviously whenever God is ready for that point for you, obviously is when you can take that. But how do you plan to balance that in terms of overall still staying ready, doing your thing out there at Duke, and overall still looking at the overall goal of playing at the NBA and potentially getting drafted 1 and done, 2 years, whatever it might be?
Yeah, I don't think I'm just gonna take it day by day. I'm gonna just keep continuing to get better and seeing where it takes me. I think if you get too focused on that and before it happens, a lot of guys have projected this, projected that, and I don't think anyone really knows what's really going on besides like the GMs in the background. So I think I just gotta keep getting better each and every day and show the people what I can do.
Going a little bit more into Coach Scheyer, he is obviously the future of Duke. He's a great young coach, but what has been your favorite memory that you've created so far with Coach Scheyer?
Um, Favorite memory of Coach. Uh, I don't know. Maybe first time I seen him, I didn't know he was that tall. Maybe that's first. He's like 6'6". I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was. I don't know why. I thought he was like 6'1" or something like that. Meet him
Mm-hmm.
at the airport. He's like 6'6". And I didn't realize Coach Scheyer really hooped for real until like halfway through my first visit. I looked him up and it said like first team All-American, this, that. I was like, oh, okay. Like he actually played basketball. Yeah.
The aspect is huge for a lot of guys, and we see more and more guys. Obviously, there's the big comparison people bring out, the Penny Hardaway's, the Jerry Stackhouses, which are all-time great NBA players, but just having a coach that's played at the collegiate level, in your case, a guy that's played at your school as well, how big has that been for you?
Yeah, it's been big, because he's been in our shoes before. He's played at Duke, so anything he's telling us, he's speaking from his own experience and what he's been through. So I think that was a big thing. And he's also been around like guys that we're trying to get to, like Jason Tatum and Brandon Ingram and RJ and Zion and all those type of guys that have been through Duke, and he recruited them and brought them there. So yeah.
You just look at the ACC, tons of great teams. What game are you most looking forward to out of all the teams in the ACC to play?
I think probably Duke, North Carolina. I think
Mhm.
I think that's like the best rivalry in sports. So I can't wait to play it.
Fans are going to be ecstatic to see you get out there as well. So, what can they expect from Mark Mitchell? What will you be bringing to Duke?
I think just versatility. I think I'm gonna be just impact winning in many ways. I think not just one dimensional, but just do what I can to help the team win.
Now, when you look at all the Duke players, and there's a long list of great players that play at Duke, are there certain guys that you say you compare yourself to, or maybe give fans a little bit idea of who you might play a little bit like?
I think just the versatile wings. I think RJ, Cam,
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Ingram, um, just versatile wings that they've had to come through there. So
Now, this might put you a little bit on the spot, but who would you say has been the five Duke players that you like the most? Like, if you could list your top five favorite Duke players of all time, who would they be?
um top five, I think I have to go Zion is probably my favorite. Oh man, Jabari Parker. I love Jabari Parker when I was younger. Um, shoot. Hmm. Man. Probably go RJ too. RJ, that whole Duke team, 2019 was just crazy to me. I think I love that team. I watch every single game that they play. So I think RJ too. Oh shoot. Uh, Probably Tatum. Tatum
Mhm.
was pretty good at Duke. I like watching him at Duke. I'll go Coach Scheyer. I don't know. I'll put him on there too. He's pretty good. So
Now, there is another huge aspect that is brand new for you guys, and that is the NIL experience. And when you're talking about that idea, there's a couple of schools that probably stand out: the Dukes, the Kansases, the Kentuckys, in terms of NIL and the image they have. So, did that have any impact in your recruiting process?
Um, no, not really. I mean, that's not the end goal at the end of the day. Obviously, I thought about it a little bit, but I think anywhere I would have went, I would have making some money. So that wasn't like a deciding factor where I went.
When you talk to Coach Shaw in that program, what's their NIL plan? I know each coach kind of gives guys a different blueprint, what they have ideas for. So, how do they plan to utilize the NIL for you guys when you guys get out there?
Yeah, I think Duke being just the biggest stage in college basketball, I think they have some things that they're having in the works. And the Duke social media team is like like none other. So when I get out there, I think I'll talk about it a little more. But right now, I haven't really thought about it that deeply.
But this could be long term, maybe happen for you out there next year, but just long term throughout your career. If you could pick one company, whether it be a shoe brand or a clothing brand, whatever it is that you could be sponsored by, who would it be?
I think Tesla. I'd love to have a Tesla. So I think if Tesla want to give me a Tesla to show off to the world, I'd be more than open to it.
Absolutely, man. Well, a few more things before we wrap up. One of those things is that obviously guys want to be remembered for something. So when you leave Duke for, if it's 1 year, I'll live to four, whatever God's got in store for you, what do you want to be remembered for what you achieve both on and off the court there?
I think I want to be a champion first and foremost. I think that's my main goal to leave Duke as a champion. Um, I think just being a good guy on and off the court, being someone they can relate to. I'll never be unlike anyone else just gonna play basketball. So I think just the students that they remember me as me, someone that they could talk to that didn't big time or anything like that. So at the end of the day, I'm really just a normal guy if you really know me for real. So I think that's it.
I do want to also go into your faith because I know you're a believer. So how has God helped get you to the point that you're at today?
Yeah, I think he's helped me a lot. Just trying to become a better Christian each and every day. Obviously, I have my pitfalls and shortfalls just like anyone else. I think I'm tempted with some certain things just like anyone else. But I think I just try to go closer to him and just read my Bible and just get better as a Christian each and every day. Like you try to get better at basketball each and every day. So,
You have something in your bios, IGWP. Take us to the meaning behind that and why you have that there.
yeah, just I had it in my bio in a different kind of form before. And it just means in God we play. Because I think I play basketball and in God's name is what I do it in. Just like you do anything else, and is in His name. So I think that's just something I live by, try to go by.
And there's nothing wrong with guys that don't do that, but there are obviously a lot of guys that go out there and say, I'm going to be more vocal. I'm going to do a hashtag like that. I'm going to put some form of just giving back to God, letting people kind of get an idea of that I am a believer. What's led you to be more vocal about your faith, and why have you decided to go out there and be vocal that you are a believer?
Yeah, I think it's nothing to be ashamed of. I think something that you want to spread the word of God to anyone that maybe hasn't heard it before, just inspire other people. So something I try to do.
If financial things were never a problem and you could have all the money in the world, what's one area that you feel led to that you want to help out? Rather it be somewhere like back home, the homeless, orphans, like anything out in the world you could think of. What's one area that you would want to help impact?
Um, I would say probably the homeless. You know, my mom works with the homeless at times. I'm volunteered at the homeless shelter. I think it's just tough. You know, obviously they make some bad decisions in their life, but being homeless is something that is really tough. You know, being in the cold, being in the heat, things like that. Is just seeing them having to be out there on the park benches and things like that, not eating and not having food. I think even though if they made mistakes in life, I think they shouldn't have to live like that. So I think just having a place for them to go and a place for them to have shelter and food is just really important.
I know Coach Scheyer, from what I've heard, is also a believer. I know at least Kyle Filipowski, you know, he's a strong believer. A couple of other guys are too. How big would that be just to be in a locker room where you can have other believers there and kind of help kind of grow your faith alongside those other guys?
Oh yeah, I think it'd be great. Being college athletes, being high level people in our space. I think we can be tempted with a lot of different things. I think if we're together and just having each other to lead on, I think it'll definitely help us go in the right direction.
Absolutely, man. Well, my final thing for you, give Duke fans your three biggest goals that you have set for your Duke career.
I think winning a national championship, beating UNC, and making it to the NBA. Three biggest goals to get out of Duke.
Absolutely, man. Well, Mark, best luck with the remainder of the season. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can get done out there at Geico. Can't wait to see you out there at Duke as well, man. Keep being the light and appreciate you taking time to come on today, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Of course, welcome on, man. God bless.
Thanks.